What's going on, everybody? My name's Dan O'Connell. I'm a real estate agent here in Franklin, North Carolina, and I'm so excited to show this house to you in Cartoogechaye. I know that's kind of a tongue twister there. Lots of folks move here from out of town, and when I tell them, oh yeah, we're in Cartoogechaye, they kind of look at me like, what the heck is that? I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's an old Indian name or an old Indian tribe. We've got a lot of names around here that are tough to pronounce. Some of the off the top of my head, like Elegance or Cowie. Iola is another challenging, tricky name. But when you learn the area, you just learn that, oh yeah, we live out in Cartoogechaye, or another one is Cullowhee. That's where Western Carolina University is. And oh, we live in Franklin. Okay, well, what part of Franklin? So this area is called Cartoogechaye, and it's very pretty farmland, lots of creeks that go through the area. This cottage right here, as you're driving up to the cottage, you're passing over creeks and around beautiful farmland. So it's just a really unique, special little spot. It's a tiny little cottage. Okay, 2 bed, 1 bath, about 1,000 square feet, maybe a little bit underneath. But super quaint. You can see that the yard is about 1.5 acres, a little under an acre, a little over an acre. And it's like one of those yards that we call like a zero maintenance yard, where the owner here, there's no garage, there's no shed. He doesn't even have a lawnmower, just because the trees, they fill up with leaves, and then they lay a huge blanket of leaves down all over the whole entire yard. Throughout the spring and the summer, and you'll have some flowers grow up, some perennials, but there's just no grass that grows. So it's kind of nice here because you want to come and stay for vacation. A lot of these times, these homes will be second homes for folks. So they escape from the suburb, escape from their maintenance yards, and they come up here to these beautiful little cottages, and they just bring some groceries and come and hang out. Maybe they'll have a bonfire or something like that. So again, the cottage, 2 bed, 1 bath, main level living. It's got an electric fireplace and some hardwood floors, hall bathroom, and a nice private back deck, and then kind of like a sunroom that they've enclosed. I don't know if you can see that section over there, but that sunroom that they've enclosed right there, or a 4 seasons room if you want to call it that. So really special little place. You can tell how calm and how quiet it is, coming up here for the weekend or a long weekend in, the spring or the summer would just be absolutely really peaceful. And then obviously all winter long, you may be lucky to get some snow on the ground. So really special place over here in Cartoogechaye in the city of Franklin. And then something else that I wanted to talk about was the well, a well and a septic. Folks are always like, Dan, I'm not really from the mountains, or I've never really lived in a rural area. What is a well, or what is a septic? They're all just used to the city water and city sewer. So here, our city water is miles and miles and miles away. So they don't have city water that runs all the way up to places like this. So everybody digs their own well, or they'll share a well. This home right here is on a private well, which means there's just one owner to the well. I don't know if you can see the concrete circular cylinder back there behind me, but that's the well. So what is it? It's essentially just a hole way down deep into the ground and taps into a water table. How deep is it? Well, they vary. Some have to go way down. They just continue to drill until they hit water. And then there's an encasing down there, and there's a pump system, and they pump the water into the filter and into the pressure tank, and then it goes into the hot water heater, and then throughout all the other appliances in the home. And here recently, again, the reason why I like talking about the well is because everyone's been asking me about it. Well, Dan, should I get the well inspected? Should I do a well inspection? My answer to that is you could. I'd always recommend doing some type of well inspection. Usually when you go over to the well, there'll be a little tag on there from who installed it, the manufacturer, the company that installed it. Sometimes it talks about the depth of the well, how deep it is. And then it talks about the gallons per minute. How many when you turn it on, how many gallons can you fill up in 1 minute? And those are just some good, you know, back of the envelope numbers that you can use to gauge in your head, okay, you know, is this well good? How long has it been in use? That sort of stuff. Do wells dry up, and do people have issues with their wells? Yeah, it's just like, you know, the same thing. If we have a storm and a tree falls on the roof, you know, some of that stuff can happen, but that's why you have insurance. So yeah, sometimes the wells, they can mess up. The pumps are usually pretty good for a long time. But the beauty in that is you don't have any water payments. You know, there's no city water payments. You're not getting a bill in the mail from town of Franklin to pay for your water. But if the pump goes bad, there's $500. You know, if for some reason the well runs dry, now you got to dig a whole new well. You could be somewhere between 5 and 25 grand, you know, depending on how deep they need to go. The deeper that they need to drill, the more expensive it's going to be. So that's just a little bit about wells. And then some last thing, some folks are always like, oh, well, I'm on a shared well. You know, what does that mean? Is that good or bad? Well, you know, if you have really nice neighbors, or, you know, you get along with your neighbors, and it's a nice thing. This well, you know, these folks are only up here seasonally. So if they were on a shared well with someone else, there's pros and cons to everything. If they were on a shared well with someone else, and the pump breaks, well, now you only have to pay $250 because the other guy is going to pay $250. So you can split the costs and split the fees, you know, if there's maintenance that needs to be done. So it's, you know, it's just kind of a judgment call. Like I said, there's pros and cons with every situation. Now the septic, okay, whenever we flush our toilets, or, you know, use the dishwasher or the gray water, it goes into what we call a septic tank. Okay, so it's a huge reservoir underneath ground. In a perfect world, your septic tank is a gravity system. We do have some systems where they pump the wastewater, the gray water, uphill. Those are a little bit more expensive. But in this situation where the land lays gradually down, septic tank is usually below the house. All the gray water and all the wastewater go into the tank, and it sits in that tank and kind of starts to break down with some of the paper products that you use. And then once it reaches a certain level, it starts to seep into the drain field. Okay, and the drain field is usually only about 6, maybe 10 inches from the surface of the ground. Okay, because when that sunlight hits that drain field, it likes to evaporate it and likes to heat it up and kind of dissipate it into the rest of the yard. You know, another nice part about that is that you're not going to get a city sewer bill. Okay, you're not going to get a city sewer bill. It's just all kind of ecosystem. It goes down into the ground and seeps through the mud and through the dirt in your front yard or backyard. Cons, if it messes up, you know, sometimes it could be a, you know, $1,500 or $1,000 or, you know, $500 bill to pump it out and to, you know, see what's going on. Sometimes tree roots will grow into that tank or grow into that drain field. So you have to make sure that, you know, when you do buy a home, I always do recommend getting a septic inspection, because all they do is they drop a camera down, they make sure that there's no tree roots that are growing in the drain lines, and they make sure that the septic looks healthy, which you have a nice layer on the top of paper products, and then the wastewater and gray water underneath are kind of, you know, bubbling and breaking down the correct way. So those are just 2 quick little things about our septics and our wells around here, and that's it.